in the course of business. That to us is not true at all, because we have got a federal court case, nothing less, federal court case that defines what is in the course of business. It has got to be a regular, a system of path where you can say, okay, this established the way the business is done in this particular institution. Whereas this is not. This is berceramuk. Jolo said this, Azlin, all these were admitted, and we find this very shocking. But he also said double hearsay also can be accepted, because he said the law does not prohibit. Whereas we have read the case law to the court where double hearsay is certainly a total no-no. Hearsay can only come in if it is under Section 32 mere exception, or the rule, common law rule called Subramaniam, which is a Privy Council rule, and the Subramaniam rule says it is not hearsay if you are not depending on the words for the truth of what he intends to convey. The message, if you want to rely on the truth of it, you cannot. But if you are relying on the fact that it was made, only that the words were made, that's okay. But you must have a certain other condition. So this is one very serious area. And I think about half the trial went on with the judge relying on hearsay. Never heard of before. We objected almost like, a piston standing up, objecting it all the time during the trial. But the judge allowed it. And the documents that were tendered are all documentary hearsay. There's no proof of the original, unlike other cases, and yet the judge admitted. This is to give you an example of what we mean by a trial that we don't expect the kind of path that the learned judge has taken. Okay, I don't know whether I should go maybe 2 or 3 more examples to you. You remember I have told the judge during the trial he should recuse himself because the prosecution is calling Jasmine Lu. Remember? And Jasmine Lu was a former partner of the judge in his previous law firm, which was sorry, Zain and Co. Zain and Co. So they were partners at the same time. So when you are partners, you share a lot of information, you share a lot of friendship, and so on and so on and so on. I said, surely you cannot be independent when Jasmine Lu gives testimony. You cannot be impartial. But he told me I can be impartial if Jasmine Lu is going to state something which is untrue and she's got no credibility, I will pronounce it. Okay? Now here we have very important factor. Jasmine Lu had escaped from this country and has been on the run. She was a fugitive. She negotiated after many years of running around because Jolo maintained her and she was on the run. She was on the run and therefore she didn't come back. So finally, when she chose to come back, when she became Pokai, she didn't have much money because Jolo was maintaining her overseas. All right. Now, to begin with, this is difficult character, isn't it? Person who runs like Jolo. Jolo hasn't been caught, but she surrendered because she could not tahan anymore. Secondly, she claimed that she saw something in London, in a hotel, and she said she walked in, Jolo was there, Dr. Sam was there, and there is another Chinese character, what's his name? T. Kok Tiam, who died subsequently when he came to Malaysia. T. Kok Tiam died. But you see that T. Kok Tiam was manipulating the computer. She said I saw it like a draft of what they call it, a donation letter. For the first time, she said it. She has never said that before. Suddenly in court, she said, now, what did we do? She said this was in early January of what year was that? Early January of 2015. Yeah. So what happened was, um, we called Dr. Samsul, Datuk Dr. Samsul, who she said was there with her, right? And Dr. Samsul said, and proved by way of his passport, that he was never in London in early 2015. Never. The earliest he went to London was sometime in July of 2015. But even then, it was not to the hotel, but to another function. Now, he challenged, in fact, Datuk Samsul challenged the prosecution to go and find out from the immigration whether his testimony about leaving Malaysia in only July and not in early 2015, he challenged them, but they did not go and check. Okay, they didn't take up the challenge. So his testimony stands unrebutted. Now, mind you, Dr. Samsul is a character that has not been impeached. His testimony has been straight. He's a medical doctor, and he was doing the CSR and humanitarian work. Whenever there is anywhere that requires his assistance, he'll go and assist. And he also provides medical assistance. But in spite of that, the court accepted what's name Jasmine Lu's testimony over Dr. Samsul. So we find this very strange. A person who has taken a few hundred million ringgit worth of things from one MDB, that's Jasmine Lu. Dr. Samsul never took a single cent. He was just a straightforward witness. The judge preferred Jasmine Lu's statement and testimony. So that is the second example that we want to show. And you remember we called Brian Chia? Brian Chia is a very senior lawyer. In fact, at one time he was the most senior partner in Wong and Partners. Wong and Partners is one of the biggest law firms in this country. Yeah. So what happened was Brian Chia came and said that what Shahrul has testified about certain transactions was not true because he was the lawyer who was being briefed by Jolo as well as Shahrul when he came to London at their invitation. And he gave instances that really show that Shahrul was a liar. With emails that he produced. He produced impromptu emails. That means emails that were produced on the day events transpired, which is many, many years earlier. And luckily he kept it because he as a typical lawyer, he kept it in his file and he produced it. Now, yet, the court found Shahrul to be more credible. Strangely, the learned judge did not touch at all about Brian Chia. Brian Chia's statement was not even considered. Okay? So I think three examples that I give you is more than enough. Because I've got about 60 or 65 of those points. Some of them are even bigger than that. Okay? So basically, we are appealing on Monday. We are looking forward to argue this matter in the Court of Appeal. In fact, although I'm sad for my client, in many ways I'm happy because the more blunder I think a judge makes, the better are our chances. And here, as I've told you, I lost everything. Never in my life have I lost everything. Not even one small bit of crumbs the judge gave us. Nothing. Everything gave to the prosecution. Nothing to us. Okay? I'm not complaining because he gave nothing, but I'm just complaining to you on the probability in terms of statistics that we can be that bodoh, that we lost everything.
How about the money trail and money trail forensic that provided by the DPP
Sorry,
case,
say again.
money and the money trail forensic that provided to become one of the evidence on this case. Are you guys having another thought of go against the money trail forensic?
I don't understand your question.
The prosecution actually provide the money trail, everything.
No, it's not forensic. They tried to provide money trail through this young man who was only about 30 years old from Bank Negara. Right? Finally they call him not an expert. He said, but he will be able to read the documents of finance. Okay? But we have shown that, like for instance, a good example, in a bank document, minus 620 million US means what? It means they took an overdraft from the bank. So the 620 never came to Datuk Sri Najib from what do you call it? From one gift. It came from an overdraft which somebody took from from Falcon Bank. So if that money is an overdraft, how can it be dirty money? Datuk Sri Najib wouldn't know where the money comes from, but the fact that it came to him, as he said, as promised by the Saudi king. Okay, so the source is not illegal. Yes. Okay. I dealt with the question of Jasmine, because Jasmine made his bizarre claim that although she said she's not part of the forgery, she's trying to say it is forgery, but she said I'm not part of it, but I walked in and I saw three gentlemen, Jolo, Kikok Tiam, and Dr. Sam was there, all the fun computer monitoring it, and yet they allow her to be there. You just imagine. She said, I'm not part of it. Why should these three gentlemen allow her to be there and expose their wrongdoing to her? Okay? This is over and above the fact that Dr. Shamsul has actually said that this is not true because he was never even in London at the time. Yes. Yes. And then Ki Kok Tiam, before he died, statement was taken. MECC never asked him about it. I mean, if he is the person doing the drafting of the forged document in the monitor and the computer, how come he never said it? It's such a big point. Okay. Now, every single one of the 4 donation letters, mind you, reach MBank. Joiner Yu said so. Joiner Yu is not a witness completely in our favor. But Joiner Yu said, I can only act to receive money, so-called donation money, provided there is supporting document. So the Forex department, why Forex department? Because they have to do the exchange of the money when they receive it in US dollars or they receive it in some other currency. They have to do the exchange. Forex receive it. Another Chinese officer, what's his name? Yap. Now his name was Yap. I forgot the rest of his name. Yap testified. He received it, and there is a chop on every one of the 4 documents of MBank receiving it in that section. So Joanna, you said, I receive it. Every time one of the 4 letters come, I receive it. What I did was I pass it on to the CEO, what's the name? Chia Teck Kwang. Chia Teck Kwang testified. He said, I saw all the 4 letters as and when he came. And Chia Teck Kwang did something wonderful. He took it and went to see the governor of Negara, Tan Sri Zeti. By the way, Tan Sri Zeti's name also not mentioned today. Not mentioned at all today, in spite of the fact that I thought Tan Sri Zeti and her entire family should be indicted for serious corruption. But Tan Sri Zeti's name not mentioned. But Chia said, I gave to Tan Sri Zeti. Why? Because, in fact, they say I provided copies. Because I needed to tell Bank Negara that these monies, big amounts, are coming into a private account of the Prime Minister. So he said, I took it very seriously. It's no joke. When a Prime Minister of the country received a few 100 million US, it's not joke. So he said, that's why I have to report. And Zeti took notice of that and said, okay, don't leave this document on my table, give it to the deputy. All right? Now, in the light of that, who do you prefer? Jasmine Lu, who suddenly shouted, I saw a forgery when it is non-credible, as opposed to, because Tan Sri Zeti also testified, in spite of her being very much a witness that I'm against, I was cross-examining her very harshly, she had to confirm that she saw the donation letter because it was provided. Okay? Now, Chia Teck-Kwang said there were these letters. Joanna Yu said yes. Yap said yes. So, what are we going to do when a judge rejected all these witnesses in favor of Jasmine Lu? Why is the judge so much in favor of Jasmine Lu? Question mark. Okay? Yeah. You see, she claimed the forgery happened in 2015, remember? Early 2015 London. But the money went in 2014. The document is needed in order to clear the fund. So money went in first, and then she said the forgery happened in 2015. So frankly, I don't understand the logic at all. Okay?
Could you clarify on the 2.08 billion ringgit that the court ordered? Was it for the recovery of assets, or was it, or is it
Or
under
the,
the
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a good question. I think it's a total blunder. That fine under Section 55 can only take place if you can prove that the amount that Datuk Sri Najib took was never recovered. Okay? They prove it. We have shown that they have recovered a lot more than what they lost. There was no proof of lack of recovery. So how could we invoke Section 55? So you must ask me, I suppose you will be thinking, why is it Tan Sri Shafee borrow? Why didn't he object? I didn't object because if the judge is about to make more mistakes, I let him make more mistakes. It's not my duty to correct it. Yeah, he should know that that's not the correct way to do it.
So it's not going to be included in the fine.
It is included in the fine. The order is there, but we are appealing.
So that means it's 11.4 plus another 2.1. So the total fine is what, over 13 billion ringgit?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay. Whereas the amount involved initially was only 2.2. Okay. And mind you, his tax is 1.9 billion. If his tax is 1.9 billion, his income is times 5. It's about 8.92 billion, the income of a prime minister. Where did he get that money from? So it is all main angin, all atas angin, this money.
Sorry, the former SPRM chairman had already said that the donation was genuine. And that's
Former SPRM.
Tax
Oh yes.
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 And yet SPRM.
Not chairman, the commissioner.
Commissioner.
Yes.
And yet the SPRM, made the report that it's not genuine even after doing all the investigations.
Correct. Correct. Now see, in order to determine whether the four, I think you asked the question, whether the four documents were forgery or not. This is a donation. My client was the Prime Minister. But he didn't stop investigation. He said, go ahead and investigate, do the audit, do the PAC in Parliament, a whole lot. Never stop. Huh? Unlike Datuk Sri Anwar. Datuk Sri Anwar stopped investigation pertaining to the sexual misbehavior, and for which he was charged. Now, but in our case, the investigation by MACC proceeded. And how did they do it? They, together with Attorney General Chambers, proceeded to go to Riyadh, the capital of Saudi, in order to meet the two princes. One of them or both of them signed the document of donation, the donation letter. And when they went there, the group of them were treated super well. They were in a palace, and they were even taken to do their umrah in a private jet belonging to the Saudi government. Nobody can do this just like that in Saudi unless you're part of the royalty or government. So came back, and they met all these prince and princess, met there, and they interviewed. They interviewed and they took a statement from the representative of the prince. All these were done by MACC. So they showed the 4 letters. The prince confirmed, yes, this is my letter. But because he has got immunity, as a prince, he's got immunity, he was not willing to be a witness. I mean, you can understand it. Because he doesn't want to be a witness, he said, I won't give you a statement, but my representative, my lawyer, nama Koman will give you the statement. So Koman's statement was taken there and then with the king in the hall. Sorry, the prince in the hall. So now, all these were done. By whom? By MACC dengan AGC. AGC was represented by, at that time, Dato Zulkifli, who became Tan Sri Zulkifli and became the became the commissioner of MACC, right? And then you have the entire bunch of MACC officers, including Tan Sri Azhar. He was then not the number 1 in MACC. He was, I think, Dato Azhar. They all went to interview. So the judge said, the way they investigated in the palace was not satisfactory. Why blame my client? My client didn't do the investigation. It is MACC dengan AGC. Why blame Datuk Sri Najib? If you are not happy, why not investigate further? You see the point? Nobody stopped them from investigating. Datuk Sri Najib certainly did not stop. Okay? Anything else?
Yeah, and clarity on the jail sentence. 3 years and running concurrent.
Okay, that one, Farhan is the expert. He recorded it. Let me ask him. No, you say. Okay. 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 With respect to Section 23 in your offence, which is 4 charges, 15 years each imprisonment. All 4 guilty, 15 years each, so it becomes 60 years lah in total if you aggregate it. But each of the 15 years run concurrently, run bersama. So in physicality, you serve only 15 years. That's number 1. Number 2, the fines that was executed in relation to that 23(1) offence. I cannot give you the perincian, I cannot give you the detail, but the total is 13.47 billion ringgit. Staggering, 13.47 billion. Okay, then okay, so I've just given you the total. Then the default sentences. This is the fine. Okay. The total fine is 13.47. If they are not paid for each one of the 4 MACC charges, you get another 10 years on each. Another additional 10 years. And these 10 years run concurrently with the main comment. All right. You got that, as far as, okay. And then for Amlatfa, you have got the 2 years and 6 months imprisonment for Amlatfa. But you remember the fine under section 55, which they have not shown, have not been recovered. They imposed on Datuk Sri Najib how much? 2 billion. 2.081 ... billion ringgit. So there's a lot of money being thrown around today. Okay, so that's the total impact. It becomes almost comical.
2 billion is included in the 13.47.
Yes.
Kasih ulang dalam bahasa Melayu kan ni.
Interpretation lah.
Muslim baru habis dah.
Okay, thank you so much.
You boleh tanya soalan lain. Okay. Last question.
You petition for fresh petition.
I will take the instruction. That is the reason why you will see there is a queue given, because we say that we do not want a stay, because of course the stay is with liberty for us to realize. There is a reason for it. I cannot tell you now why.
Country, is there a bearing for your this appeal and on the appeal for the
No bearing except for the stay. There's a reason for it. Okay?
Thank you. Good night.
They want to snap a photo of the restaurant.
Dah bagi tadi. Tapi tadi kata bagus.
Ada orang pakai telefon lain tu babi. Thank you. Okay, dan
Share lah, share. Okay.
Alah, Danny. Kami kawan. Baik. Awak datang. Dah.